BlogTalkRadio, the world's largest online radio network.
Welcome to OutTakes. Today's guest is Krista Allen, who stars as A-lister Jennifer Bell on the second season of the CW's critically acclaimed TV series, The LA Complex. Krista is known for her memorable performances in projects such as Anger Management, opposite Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler, ABC's What About Brian, NBC's Days of Our Lives, her breakout role in Liar, Liar with Jim Carrey, and Final Destination 4. You are starring as Jennifer Bell on the CW series The LA Complex. Could you tell us a little bit about the character?
She's such a fun character to play, Jennifer. She's been famous for a really long time, and now she's in a place in her life where the 20-year-olds don't really know who she is anymore. There's a lot of stuff going on in her personal life that starts to, come unraveled, within like the fourth episode or so. But the big thing with her is that she just doesn't feel like she's relevant because she's really not relevant anymore. And she ends up meeting Connor, and she's going through a bunch of different young actors, and she meets with Connor, who's really excited and thinks that he's going to get a movie thing, but it has nothing to do with the movie. And she hires him to be her boyfriend. And the deal is, he walks down the street with him, and he becomes relevant, and he walks down the street with her, and he can become a movie star. So they make an agreement. And it's a really fun character to play. But through the course of this, it's not the relationship that one would think. It ends up taking on a very much. She's very maternal with him because he has a lot of stuff going on. And Connor has a lot of stuff going on in his life. So it's just a really interesting character and an interesting storyline, and I love it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be fun to watch. As someone who's been in the business, as you have you actually seen that sort of thing happen? Older actresses hook up with younger actors to stay relevant?
It's always. Yeah, I've never seen this before in terms of, oh yes, somebody come to me and says, oh, by the way, I'm going to date a really young actor so I can become relevant. I don't know that I've actually seen it like that before. But we hear about it all the time. I don't think it's necessarily just, even just in Hollywood. I'm sure this happens all over the place. It's just Hollywood is in a fishbowl, so of course, it's kind of a different thing, and it is. Jennifer Bell wants to make sure people are going to come see her movies, and so the entertainment industry is a whole different animal, But I think this kind of thing happens all over the place, don't you? Yeah, it probably does. But as you know, people wouldn't talk about it. So, you just have to sort of, observe and see. They wouldn't advertise it. Well, is the LA Complex, it's actually a show based on sort of younger Hollywood, right? Trying to get into yes. Trying to be successful in Los Angeles. Yes, actually, the LA Complex, the whole thing, the LA Complex is a complex where all of these young Canadian actors actually go to make it in Hollywood, and they all have big dreams, and they're stand-up comics and dancers and actors and writers and all these different characters, and they're all here to make it. But the interesting thing about the LA Complex is it's actually taken from a real place in Los Angeles, and I believe it's Highland Gardens or something like that. I think that's what it's called. But it's known for that. People come from Canada during pilot season, and they all live there. And they try to make it. They hope to get a pilot. So it's, there's a little bit of there's the reality in that, because there is a place like that in Los Angeles.
Oh, well, having been so successful as an actress yourself in the business, what advice would you give for actresses that are past their 20s and trying to stay relevant and seeing just real life advice besides hooking up with a younger guy?
I think it's gonna sound very cliche, but it's believe in yourself. It's a lot of times it's our thoughts that create this kind of irrelevance, because that's the way that when people think a certain thing about themselves and that's the way they see themselves, the world outside really can't see you any differently if you don't change that. And I think that's the biggest thing, with anything, but especially, okay, so if you're an older, if you're getting older, or you're in your 30s or going into your 40s or whatever it is, and you're starting to actually believe that you won't be able to do anything because, oh gosh, I'm getting older or whatever it is, then you won't. And I think it's all part of the mind. I think sometimes people play mind games with themselves, and then they create exactly what it is that they fear the most.
Well, that's great advice. Well, you and I actually have something in common, because you were raised in Texas, and I grew up in Texas. So,
what part?
I grew up in Mesquite, Texas, which was the suburb of Dallas.
I know where that is. I lived in Mesquite, Texas, too.
Oh, my God.
Mesquite and Garland, by the way, when I was little.
Oh, yeah.
And McKinney.
All those areas. Well, I wanted, so that's what made me think, what made you decide, to take the leap and go for an acting career?
It's funny. I don't think I didn't really know what I was doing when I came out here, and when I came to Los Angeles, it was really, I was ending a relationship, and I just wanted to come out to Los Angeles and see what it was all about, and I just got in my car and I drove, and I didn't really know what I was doing. So, even advice to the younger actors that are coming out or suggestions with that, it's still the same thing. And I know that wasn't your question, but it just made me think about it. When I was coming out, I didn't really have a lot of faith in myself as an actress, because I had never done that, but much less that, like even just having a really stable and secure place within me. And oftentimes that, you see it all the time, and you end up making questionable choices, or you do things that maybe you wouldn't do had you been in a much more secure place. And when I came out here, I didn't know what. The only thing that prompted me to come to Los Angeles was a relationship that wasn't working out. And then from there, everything happened. And now it's really cool, because I actually get to go and I get to talk to younger actors and actresses around Los Angeles and just kind of share my own experience and remind them to believe in themselves and have faith in themselves as an actor or an actress, and really believe in themselves, as just a man or a woman, much less an actress, So that's been super rewarding for me.
Well, you've been really fun. You've worked on so many fabulous movies like Anger Management and Liar Liar, and have been able to have the fortune of working with big movie stars, legendary movie stars in some cases. Is there a favorite project that you've worked on, film-wise or TV-wise? I'm not talking about the LA Complex, because obviously, but
right,
something from the past.
Let me think about that. I mean, I I can take something pretty great from all of those people that you just mentioned. I mean, how amazing. You know, I got to work with Jim Carrey and Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler and Sam Rockwell and these I don't know. I think my favorite project I ever worked on was a show called Unscripted, and it was so real, and it looked like a reality show, but it wasn't a reality show, but it was kind of like a reality show. It was made to look like one, and it was myself and Brian Greenberg and Jennifer Hall, and we all went by our own names, but the stories were not necessarily real, but some of them were pieces of our life. So it was really, really interesting, and that was probably the most fun I have ever had, and such a challenge. It was so challenging, and it was really great, and it was on HBO, and it was very similar in a sense to the kind of the way that the LA complex is. It was about Hollywood, and it was about trying to make it and struggling and all of those things. So, you know, when I get to play things like that, you know, when I get to fall into a role like that, it's really fun because I have such an experience with that. So it's really fun, and so I think probably Unscripted is my favorite.
Would you have like a favorite medium, such as, you know, do you enjoy filming for television more than films, or does it matter to you?
You know, my favorite thing to do are sitcoms. It's my favorite thing to do. I love sitcoms, and I love old school sitcoms. I like the kind where it's, you know, real sitcoms with the audience and the multi-camera, like all of that stuff. It's, you know, I love those, and it's not really, you know, around so much, but it's I love that whole setup, and there's something really great about having a live audience there, and, you know, it's wonderful. So that's probably my favorite kind of television to do. But I love the experience in general of just being on set and meeting everybody from the cast and the crew to the whole production team, and, you know, everybody always has wonderful stories, and it's just a really fun job. I'm really grateful and very lucky to have this job, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love your choice of sitcoms. I agree. I still have faith sitcoms are going to come back someday.
I know. Me too. Can we just bring them back, me and you? Come on. Let's start a petition.
Let's just make our own sitcom. You know?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've seen some of the pictures from your shots on the LA complex, and you're such a beautiful lady, and how do you stay in such great shape? I know you're very you have a vegan diet that a vegan lifestyle that you really embrace. Would you say that's part of what you do to stay in shape?
I think so. I mean with the vegan lifestyle, the way that I eat with that, I'm sure I feel so much better not eating meat and dairy, and I don't miss it, and I'm really healthy. And it's funny because people never question your protein intake until they find out you're a vegan, and then all of a sudden it's, where do you get your protein? But I have tons of energy, and and I feel very healthy. Then of course I do yoga, and I love it. I love all kinds of yoga, from the hot yoga to just the vinyasa flow yoga, and I teach yoga, and I love surfing and paddleboarding, and I've recently gotten into stand-up paddle yoga, where we take the boards out on a paddleboard. We take the boards out and we do yoga on the paddleboard, and that's really fun. And if you fall, you just fall in the water, and it's really nice. So, and I go hiking with my dogs. I have a beagle and a Yorkie, Jack and Lola, and I go hiking with them. And I stay active, and I love nature and getting out there and just going into a studio and doing yoga is really great and centering. And I think the biggest thing for me is just, waking up every morning and counting what I'm grateful for and putting that out there and just saying thank you. And it starts my day off in such a positive way. And everything else falls into place.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, anything else going on with you? Any other projects that you can tell us about?
There are projects that are coming in. There's things that are happening. We haven't made any decisions on things at this time, but there's some LA Complex that when I was talking earlier about like my favorite projects, and I said unscripted, that is one of them. But I have to say that right now, the LA Complex was the most amazing experience, and it's been so great and really great for me. And so the kind of the ripple effect of just being on that show has opened up so many doors for me for really great opportunities. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now is reading some really great scripts and talking to some really great people and seeing what's going to happen next. But as soon as we know what we're doing, I'll let you know, and then we can talk about that too. But there's good stuff happening.
For more information on upcoming interviews, like the new Outtakes Facebook page at Outtakes on Blog Talk Radio, or follow Laurie's Outtakes on Twitter, or read the blog at outtakesinterviews.blogspot.com.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.